which in this case Pinkie Pie will be definitely going to be using our Shy Guy Dice Block after all, until whenever we're able to get ourselves our next glorious star. Yeah, so that means that makes it up to like 3 stars at this point, so yeah, that makes it entirely obvious. So yeah, once again we need to pay 10 coins as such, so yep, looks like we're in the top board. Yep, as far as the forms of the actual leaderboard set is so far, especially because of how the fact that we actually got pretty lucky with all these situations, most notably with the forms of like the star space locations and you know, you name the rest. Yeah, so let's see what the next star space is going to be located, and it's gonna be on the top left corner of the island. But again, in order to actually get to it though, is the fact that we need to able to either you know, get to that green pipe we go, and that as far as we can able to actually go for that point. So, anyways, let's go ahead and purchase the forms of the golden pipe before we can do anything. So, hopefully we get a chance for that. So, yeah, that makes it obvious. And yep, looks like the thermometer is almost getting towards at the red line at the top. So, yeah, that we'll mention more on that until whenever we want that thermometer, we're able to actually go all the way up. So, even then though, let's just find out until, I would say the next turn that we're able to actually make it happen. So, yeah, it looks like Boo's going to be using the Golden Dash Mushroom for now. So, naturally, because he just wants to able to get to move along. So, yeah, we'll see how this will go. So, he gets a 12. So, yeah, that makes it obvious to see how he can able to actually just, you know, trying to catch up to the actual star space. But, unfortunately, though, he did manage to land on that bad luck space, so even though that he needs to put up with it though, so even then though that what events that he might actually stumble across for unlucky situations, well, it looks like it's gonna be moved to the next star space. Oh jeez. I wonder what the next star space is gonna be moved somewhere. But even then though, we'll never know, and it looks like it's gonna be at... Wow, right there? I guess we're pretty lucky for that part right there. So, yeah, that's interesting, but unfortunately for Boo right there, that he won't stand a chance with all this, the next star space he's going to go for. Yeah, I know that. Alright, so the next minigame we have is Smash and Crab. So, this might be something interesting to say much for this. Dodge the hammers to survive. The attacking team's controls are split between left hammer, right hammer, and movement. So basically, you have to like maneuver around with the analog stick for you able to actually just to move around with the crab contraption. And if you press the right button on the, depends what Joy-Cons you be using, either the button on the right or the X button, if depends on again that what Joy-Con you want to select. Or if in this case, just trying to play around with, and then naturally that's those two players can able to deal with all this wrecking things with the hammer. So, but yeah, this minigame is kind of like, I would say by the forms of stage fright on the forms of in Mario Party 6, but unlike in Mario Party 6 stage fright is the fact that we need to rely on the actual hammers as far as the contraption goes. So there we go, we have pretty much once again dominated with this minigame, even though that, I will admit it though right away, that, you know how the fact that most computer players these days, they've gone pretty much, you know, toned it down a little bit ever since then. But anyways though, that's that done, and, yeah, as usual, we got 10 coins and such. So yeah, let's get to the forms of the actual announcements after all that. A few moments noticing by the forms of the SXSW panel, specifically for the Sonic the Hedgehog panel. Recently, about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that not only do we get ourselves, not only by the forms of the new information about the forms of Team Sonic Racing, which we've already mentioned about this several times, but also about the fact that not only do we get ourselves not 1, but 2, 3 new surprises. Well, technically 4 if those who lived in the United States of America, but even then, let's start with the first thing first. So, the first off we just want to point things out is the fact that the new information upon Team Sonic Racing has been confirmed on the forms of the SXW panel, or SXSW panel in 2019, that the new information includes about the fact that they're going to be bringing us to ourselves a new track, which is actually based off from Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which appears to be Bingo Party. So yes, we have ourselves a casino themed level this time around. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to say much for that. But at least even then though, we've already got Roulette Road on the forms within Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. But I don't know if that's going to be bringing back on Team Sonic Racing. But we'll find out soon enough. So anyways though, let's not use the golden pipe because that would be a waste of opportunity if you accidentally use that when the star space is clearly right next to you and we deserve a 0. Great, that's just terrific. But either way though, let's just hoping if that Goomba doesn't get to it though. But either way, we'll find things out in Drain at some point. So, alright, so Boo got himself the 4. And looks like out of all these 2 presents, which one he might as well go for? I don't know. I think probably my guess is... Oh, he's got screwed over. But he falls to the actual Piranha Plants. So yes, you do lose coins if you're able to actually unlock, or in this case, if you're trying to open up the present contains the Piranha Plants. So, because again, the Piranha Plants doesn't do anything until when, you know, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that did manage to reveal the DLC character for it. Yeah, I know that. So anyways though, we have another mini game. Let's see what we're going to be playing this time around. We have Lost in the Shuffle again, so... But this time around though, since we're able to get things started with this mini game, since we've already played this before. And this time around though, we have, you know, Mario Party 4 host characters gathered around. Like, Toad was actually, like, sitting around and all that stuff, well, most notably on the other side of a table. And then the other 4 Mario Party 4 host characters are usually sitting around, gathered around in a table. So, yeah, looks like I was gonna be concentrating on here. I think it's this one. Yeah, I'm guessing you might be on it, because as far as I can tell, because of my crazy spinning eyes, that I was getting a little bit dizzy at this rate. But I thank you, Pinkie Pie, for letting me know about the forms of where the last few dolls was actually at. So, there we go. Thankfully, though, we did manage to win this minigame this time around, so... Anyway, though, let's get into more information about the forms of Team Sonic Racing, that they did manage to feature some new features and updates by the forms of SXSW panel. Another thing is worth mentioning though is the fact that we actually got ourselves a new feature in the forms of Team Sonic Racing, and that is the forms of the kart customization. Which is kind of like how we did on Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8, but the only noticeable differences this time around is the fact that there won't be any gliding stuff, or heck, even especially noticeable like, well, aside from that though, like the no gliding features and stuff like that, but usually it kind of feels like the same way for how it does in Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8, that's how the fact that you can actually change your kart models, and you can actually change your tires and all that stuff. But the noticeable differences this time around is the fact that you can actually change your color card, or alternatively, you can able to actually change your different kind of horn sounds. So even then though, that way you could able to make it a little bit more interesting to say the least. Even though it might be, I will be considered this right now, I'm still pretty excited about the forms of Team Sonic Racing at this point now, with more features being added. And let's just hope how the fact that, well, the game still practically say that it might actually contains like 21 playable tracks, or in this case by the forms of the race tracks, there are 21 of them in total. So yeah, so far the new ones added by the forms of, you know, the track system or the actual track selection is of course Bingo Party, since Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. So yeah, which I'm very pleased about, because either way, I think they did manage to upgrade the visuals very significantly on Bingo Party than the likes of the original counterparts, because as far as I'm guessing, that it did manage to add in some more colorful details here and there, or perhaps maybe because they need to able to modernize the forms of the actual track itself, and did manage to able to add something new to the mix, or something like that. But again, the only thing we've got at the moment at this rate is of course the actual soundtrack of that as well. So, and also the fact that, speaking of the soundtrack of, oh wow, really? That seems kind of odd right there. It appears to be liking us getting towards it. Yeah, for that little star space in particular. But since we actually got ourselves 4, oh, okay, we'll take a red space any day. Yeah, and I don't know who's gonna make it to the forms of the actual star space though, but I'm guessing that, yeah, Boom might actually get to it, so... But hey, surprise, surprise for him. So anyways though, yeah, speaking of the soundtrack of Team Sonic Racing, is the fact that they're actually going to be revealing the actual soundtrack of Team Sonic Racing, specifically Maximum Overdrive album, which I believe is going to be usually going to be located on Spotify, and especially noticeable with iTunes, but I don't know exactly when that's going to come out though. And if I'm guessing this correctly, that it might actually go ahead and release that and do it at some point around the same day as, you know, the official Team Sonic Racing comes out. But even then though, that, I might be curious to see how the actual music album they're going to be bringing things up. So even then though, that again, we'll find things out until whenever when it gets to May, so even then though, that, you know, don't expect too much. So, speaking of Team Sonic Racing, is the fact that, do you remember in last year that we've actually got ourselves the short animated shorts by the forms of Sonic Mania Adventures back in June about a year ago, just because of the celebration for Sonic Mania Plus. But now we have ourselves another animated shorts. Although before we get into this, however, though, I believe this is what happens if you measure to let the thermometer. Although first off, you need to do this particular thing first. But this happens if the actual thermometer gets full up, meaning about the fact that, you know, this shop that I mentioned earlier, well, unfortunately for you, that won't be accessible anymore. So, yeah, meaning that you cannot even get the custom dice block or the golden pipe anytime being, because, well, at least unlike in Mario Party 7, or in this case for this matter, and in most of these Mario Party games, they did manage to able to restore things completely. Like, for instance, for example, in Mario Party 7 Grand Canal board, that, again, if 3 turns has been up by the forms of, like, you know, the Bowser spaces, or Bowser bridge to the normal bridge and stuff like that. Actually, I'll mention more on that later, but for now, we got a new minigame, Drop Quiz. Alright, seems interesting. The team side answers the solo player's question. The team side wins, even if only one of them makes it through all 3 of the solo player's questions. So, basically in a team of 1, basically they need to pick what question they want to go for. As for the team of 3, well, they need to pick an answer. So, yeah, this makes it a little bit obvious here, so...
Start.
In fact, this particular concept is this concept of this minigame. It kind of reminds me of something almost related to Speak Up from Mario Party 6, but obviously there's no microphone support. So, anyways, let's go for, let's just say, what was Toad number 2 carrying? Question. And truth be told, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the apple, but of course computer players are acting like an idiot. Well, except Goomba right there, because obviously he knows where that is. So naturally, it's definitely gonna be an apple. Yeah, compared to the lemon, there's only like 1 lemon. And since Koopa Troopa and Boo got it wrong, that means they're able to fall down to the pit below. So yeah, that makes it a little bit of a tricky task. I believe the team of 3 is going to be a lot more difficult though. I mean, you'll see why whenever we get to like the latest modes. So, but I'm pretty sure you guys should probably only know what I'm talking about here. So, anyway though. So, aside from that, yeah, we actually got ourselves another Sonic animated shorts videos, but this time around those mainly focusing on Team Sonic Racing, which appears to be this time around calls it Team Sonic Racing Overdrive. So even then, I believe they are at the moment right now, then I'm guessing they actually include like 2 parts so far, which I might be looking forward to able to see how this will actually turn out, because either way, I really enjoyed Sonic Mania Adventures, mini adventures, or mini shorts, whatever. Sorry for a little bit of a dialogue error for this point, folks, because, well, I'm just pretty damn excited most of the time, though, because either way, that some of these news announcements and you name it. So, and plus I need to get back into Shadow the Hedgehog after this board anyway, so even then though that I should be able to explain things more about it until at some form or another. But even then though, it might be very exciting to see how the actual shorts actually turns out to be. So, and also they did actually announce there's going to be some DVD releases for Sonic Boom TV series for the first time ever in forms within a North American country. So yeah, about freaking time to see how the fact that the Sonic Boom TV series actually finally makes its DVD media hub, or in this case the whole media, or in this case on the DVD format for the first time in North America. Well, technically speaking, Pinkie Pie, they did already done that already, due to the likes of the Sonic Boom Fire and Ice special bundle. Oh yeah, exactly, but only on North America, only. But nonetheless though, back in 2016, that we've actually got ourselves the entire Season 1 of Sonic Boom TV series DVDs. So still no sign of the films of Season 2 DVDs though, just because I'm pretty sure they're going to be moving on back to its normal Sonic's debuts. So yeah, I'm guessing there must have been so much so. So anyways, let's go ahead and use the Golden Pipe before we can do anything about it. Although, at the moment right now, for this point, especially by the forms of obtaining the Golden Pipe, is the fact that the only method you can only do now is the fact that we need to able to, hopefully, God forbid, trying to able to actually get ourselves, you know, the item block or the actual item space you can land on. Or, for this matter, that, well, you only have, like, one option to able to actually get yourselves your Golden Pipe to begin with. Yeah, I know that. But anyways, here's our next star right here. I wonder what this, how many stars we have. I'm pretty sure we have 5 stars so far. Yeah, just because we are really lucky with the forms of, like, some of these star space locations. Yeah, I know that, but when we get to the final board of, Super Mario Party's Mario Party mode, well, we'll mention more on that until whenever we get to that next weekend. Yeah, which is definitely true. And it looks like that Toadette she's gonna go back into the watermelon island right there. So naturally, that I think we should probably get to there. But the thing is, we're probably not gonna land on that happening space. So instead, let's check in allies. So even then though, what allies should we have? It looks like it's gonna go to Bowser. So yeah, pretty interesting to see he actually gonna be joined in with the actual main roster. So. And as for his dice block though, it might be pretty good. Well, at least he's got like 1, 8, 9, and 10. But the only downside though is of course he got like 2 of those sorry, can't speak today for this point, folks. The -3 coins side dice blocks. So that might be the only downside though. Anyways, and I believe Boo is also gonna get himself his ally, but he got himself Diddy Kong. So. Yeah, which is kind of ironic because back in during the likes of King Bob-omb's Powder Cake Mine, that previously that Diddy Kong got himself Boo as an ally, but this time around though it's completely opposite. Yeah, which is kind of strange, but at least it's pretty cool nonetheless. Alright, so now we're gonna be faced off against with Goomba this time around in Water Racket again. So, but this time around though, we're going to be participating with the team of 3. Safe and end of since we've already played this game before. So, but again, this time around though, we're going to be doing this with the team of 3. Yeah, I know that. So yeah, and also the final thing before we're able to actually just like continue for this particular board so far. The final thing which I want to point things out is the fact that they're actually going to be announcing there's going to be the next mainstream Sonic title is about to be announced, but only currently in development at the moment. But unlike any forms of back in 2016, where they did manage to announce Project Sonic 2017, which later on now known as Sonic Forces, during the likes of in 2017. So I wonder what the actual game title is going to be this time around though, but who knows. But even then though, it could be possibilities of they're going to be announcing that until this year's E3 or possibly next year. But who knows, we'll be able to find things out until that time period comes. Especially because of all the fact that back in during the likes of in, you know, in 2016, they did actually announce not only Sonic Forces, or in this case Project Sonic 2017, but also the same thing for Sonic Mania. But even then, later on, that those 2 titles will be released in 2017. But I don't know if that's going to be, most likely going to be, well, it's hard to just, it's hard, I'm really sorry about this point, folks, because even then, it's hard to explain it for this kinds of stuff like this, because, you know, some predictions might be a little bit more of a struggling moments because of how the fact that if you think that it will eventually able to actually come, will able to be considering with the forms of this year's E3 predictions, but currently speaking, that we actually at, I would say by the forms at this point, we've only got about 3 months left until, like, you know, Nintendo's E3 is going to be on its way, and same applies for Microsoft E3. So, but you know, it's kind of a shame that Sony will actually miss out on this year, so yeah, which I felt very bad for that company. Yeah, I know, because, well, I don't know what that is though. So anyways though, so yeah, as far as from our final thoughts of the SXSW panel, specifically on the Sonic the Hedgehog panel, it might be not the best panels ever made, but at least it has some very good ones though, which I will say I'm very happy about that. Which either way, like first of all, some more new features of Team Sonic Racing, which we're very glad about, and especially noticeable with the forms of I would say by the forms of the animated short series, by the forms of Team Sonic Racing Overdrive, and especially noticeable with the next mainstream Sonic title, or the next main Sonic title will be on its way. So even then, it might actually go into releasing on the Nintendo Switch once again, ever since in Sonic Forces, but again, we don't know exactly what the actual title of the game is going to be called, but even then, we'll find things out in the future. So, because for now, let's just see. And we actually got a Piranha Plants, but that's okay because we lost about 1 coin. But that's okay though, because either way, that we don't refuse to able to lose any of those coins. Yeah, let's not land on that happening space because we really don't able to go all the way back to the very beginning of the board. And we'll take the custom dice block before we can do anything about it. And it's a good thing we've actually got that though. So naturally, because it makes a little bit of a good strategy involved. So anyways though, I believe Boo, he's definitely going to be using himself the golden pipe because he desperately he really needs that specific star immediately. So yeah, that's as far as I can say about the forms of the SXSW panel for Sonic the Hedgehog panel, and it looks pretty good. I won't say it's not the perfect panel discussions ever, but I will say though, it's still pretty solid nonetheless, which I'm still very happy about. So even then though, although ironically enough, is the fact that they don't even like shown up a brand new movie trailer of Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, specifically in this year. Because of that though, I believe they do need to work some time with, you know, I'm really hoping they do actually fix the actual, like, although, generally speaking, for that particular, final Sonic body design on, Sonic the Hedgehog the movie design was a little bit more too much of a leak. Oh, sweet! We actually got even much more luckier than ever. Well, it all depends though, Pinkie Pie, because I'm pretty sure enough that, Goomba might actually make it there first. Well, it all depends on the forms of the actual dice rolls and stuff, so who knows, we're able to find out until the next turn. And conveniently enough, we're actually on the halfway point of Mega Fruit Paradise, so even then, though naturally speaking, then you know. Alright, so we got once again another 4-player game. Seriously, there's so many 4-player minigames in this entire run. And in this case, we're gonna go for Bumper Brawl again, but this time around with different amounts of players. And conveniently enough, we're actually going to be having ourselves the equal amount of allies, as you can see there, which is pretty interesting. So it makes it more likely the 8-player Bumper Brawl battle. So, so close. We were expected to able to win this time, but unfortunately because these computer players catch us off guard. But oh well, no big deal. Besides, we've already just won quite a few minigames potentially, but oh well. Whatever. Well, we'll let Boo win that on that one, so. But again, that you know. Alright, so how many turns we at so far, Pinkie? Let's just say, as soon as that result screen is about to be finished, turn 13. Jeez, we're getting quite close towards the end of this particular board so far. Well, generally speaking, because of all the fact that, well, we usually talked about the, you know, the SXSW panel for several occasions, but either way though, I will say though is that compared to Nintendo Direct sometimes with the SXSW panel sessions, that it doesn't go nearly as long as Nintendo Directs, I don't think. But even then though, that's as far as we can go. Now, somebody told me about the fact that, well, usually current speakers such as that, it might not be true though, because either way, that in the forms of like the next Nintendo Direct sessions in the actual Twitter, for, you know, the Nintendo Direct Yay.com or something like that, for whatever reason, they do like the voting system with the forms of like, actually, I think we should probably get ourselves on next star, actually. And it looks like Goomba got himself his next ally, which appears to be Hammer Bro. So, yeah, that should be pretty surprising for that moment. So anyways, though, yeah, they did say about the fact that the next Nintendo Direct will be at, this month, which might not be true, though, because even then, though, because we've already got, the last Direct, which is actually about a month ago, well, at least ever since, not only by the forms of the regular Nintendo Directs, but it's also because of the fact that we've already got ourselves the Pokemon Direct recently, so, yeah, that might be true. And yeah, this is what, Toad Tip's, information sounds looks like. But we've already mentioned about the entire board of it so far. So, yeah, because of that though, you need to do continuous amounts of island hopping. So, yeah, that might be the only downside about this board. But I will say, I do like the aesthetics about this board. But, it's just that the island hopping, board design is not my cup of tea. Yeah, just because of the fact that it might be pretty luck-based at times. If you really want to go for, like traversing for the warp pipes and stuff like that for that nature. Oh jeez, once again, we lost by the Piranha Plant, but this time around 10 coins. Jeez, we're getting so unlucky right there. But nonetheless though, we got a star nonetheless. So I think that's star number 6 for our usual standpoints. Yeah, which is probably far from the truth. But I'm pretty sure that it's all the next turn though anyway. I'm guessing that Goomba might actually steal a star in the next turn. Well, at least it all depends of the 50% chances between these two presents though. Or in this case for this matter, although it might be pretty possible that you would able to get yourselves your red Koopa Trooper or Paratrooper nonetheless before you're able to actually just to traverse for anything. But we'll see what happens there. Alright, so the next star is going to be at the very beginning of the island. Well, in this case, on the first island of, you know, Mega Fruit Paradise. So, yeah, that's how it goes for this point, so... Alright, so, but hey, at least we can able to traverse back into a green pipe right there. But, seems somehow, I'm pretty sure that Koopa Trooper might get himself his star, though. Because I'm pretty sure enough that he hasn't got his star for quite a while, actually. Because most of the time... that we always attempt to able to go after these several star spaces almost near towards us. Yeah, no, because either way though, because we got so lucky for that point. Oh, another thing is worth mentioning though is the fact that eventually that the Lego Movie 2, the video game, specifically on the Switch version of the game, might actually reveal some free DLC. Which I don't know what that's gonna be like, but I'm guessing it's more likely a story continuation or something. But even then, but again, we'll might as well find out. Because although, I will honest for this point, folks, I kind of prefer the movie over the video game versions of the Lego Movie 2, the video game, because I'm pretty sure they got like pretty mixed reception onto critics. And ironically, it's the fact that most of the fans seem to able to dislike the video game version of the Lego Movie 2, the video game. Yeah, it's kind of odd. But anyways, we have a new minigame here, Pie Hard. Launch pies at your rivals. You can hold up to 2 pies at once. So this minigame is actually pretty fun because either way, not only do you able to actually carry pies all around, but you can also chuck these pies at the same time at the rivals. So yeah, we're able to actually make a cluster of mess with, you know, all kinds of pie mixtures. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. So, but either way though, the only thing you need to be rely on though with this minigame is the fact that you have to be right on with the forms of the angle system. Because, well, if you manage to able to get your angle a little bit more off to the side or off to the actual other corner, well, chances are you might as well able to actually miss your aiming. So that might be the only catch about this minigame though, is the fact that you have to be judge of the actual angles of throwing. So, but apart from that though, it's a lot of fun. And as you can see, that looks like it's all covered in mess around here. And also, as you can see right there, that Goomba almost got himself his actual hair, but it might not be, because it's basically just a pie ingredient. But who knows, maybe. I don't know. I just get a little bit confused right there, so... Alright, so far, we're still in the lead so far, which is top-notch, if you ever think about it. Yeah, just because the forms of the actual star space goes all over the place when it comes to, like, getting towards us, obviously. Yeah, so let's move on to turn number 14, and it looks like that, yep, Koopa Trooper is definitely going to be using himself the Golden Dash Mushroom, so because of that, he needs to get that star so badly. So, in addition with, he gets himself 3, but also 1, so that makes 4, and plus 5 makes it up to 9. So, and let's see what Koopa Troopa is going to be buying, and I'm guessing he's going to be buying just a regular Dash Mushroom. So yeah, this is the only item shop you're going to be spending on this board for now, because you know that in the beginning portion of the board, you start things off with 2 shops, but once the ice cream is about, or this actual giant scoop of ice cream, they're most able to drop down. This means you can only have like 1 item shop left. Although, unlike in the second shop though, it doesn't go away. So, naturally, this is the only shop you can only attempt to use at this point, so yeah, that's as far as we'll go. So, anyway, so I'm pursuing Goomba. He's now down to 4th place now. And, although he might eventually catch up due to the forms of that, you know, the star stealing, part right there. But again, we'll fight things out until that time. So, anyways, though, the next star space is going to be at the watermelon aisle. So, even then up, because you see that Spikes is about to be chilling out and what have you. So yeah, and also that Koopa Troopa is going to be traversing for that green pipe right there. And another thing I just want to point out right away is the fact that, well, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure how do I explain about this potentially, but, I was expecting that we actually got ourselves a new DVD. Well, technically the DVD I actually really dislike the most, and that will have to be by the films. If you know the film called Shrek the Third, which is essentially the 3rd entry of the Shrek series, well, usually I always intend to enjoy the first film and the second film more than the films of the later installments. Like, for instance, Shrek the Third is actually a little bit more bland, and especially kind of forgettable. And also at the same time, that it doesn't feel like Shrek 3 to me, because it's more likely calls it Shrek 2.5, just because we have the exact same characters as the films of Shrek 2, and also that we have the exact same villain as the films of how it does it in Shrek 2, but the only redeemable part about the films of Shrek the Third is obviously Merlin as a new character, and aside from that, especially with the baby Shreks themselves as well, that's about it as far as we can consider. Which, to me though, I did manage to sell Shrek the Third DVD, because I'm not really a big fan of that film. Definitely is one of my second least favorite DreamWorks film, next to the films of that terrible Shark Tale. Yeah, I know, because that movie rather, was actually crap. Yeah, I know that, because it's like a rip-off of Finding Nemo. In fact, back in the day, they did manage to able to actually release quite a number of Finding Nemo rip-offs. Yeah, I gotta say, it's a little bit more embarrassment to say much for that. So anyway, so let's go ahead and purchase ourselves. Yeah, let's go for the Golden Dash Mushroom again. So because of that, we'll definitely gonna catch up in the forms of like some specific matters. So yeah, you probably get the idea for that point. And lucky for us though, we can able to traverse back to the green pipe we go. Yep, so that way we could able to hopefully try and able to get ourselves our next star, if all depending on few forms of computer players might actually start to come in, so. But I digress though, so I believe Boo, he's going to be using the Poison Mushroom too. Goomba right there. Although if we don't make it to the start though, then I'm guessing that we might actually go ahead and steal our star back from Goomba. Well, it all depends though really, because of how the fact that, well, Boo, he's pretty much almost gonna catch up so far with all these little star collectibles and what have you. And looks like he's gonna go on to that green pipe, down we go, and he's gonna go all the way back to almost at the very beginning of the board. Yeah, that's the only thing about the island hopping in these board games sometimes, because either way, you have to be dead on with that happening space. But apart from that though, you know, you get the idea for that point. Alright, so Stake Your Claim. Pretty interesting minigame actually, so let's go ahead and just play this. Grab the biggest space. Identify and claim the biggest space before your rifles. So yeah, basically, that's we need to move around with the analog stick, of course, and press the right button on your Joy-Con until you're able to actually select which of one of the claim stakes or you want to take. So, or in this case, the actual space, whatever you're trying to prefer. To me, this minigame takes place in the exact same location as of how it does it from, I would say, what's that minigame is called again? With, all this little, minded, you know, absent-minded, which, you know, that minigame usually takes place on the exact same environment, but the only difference is that we're doing a different kind of, rules and stuff like that. Like, for instance, that whoever gets the most spaces in that specific turn, but yeah, you get the idea. And I'm guessing the higher amount of points you can actually get up to for this minigame is the fact that because we only have, like, 5 rounds. So, because of that, though, if you get, like, 5 points for every single round, that means it gives us by default of 25 points in total. Yeah, which is definitely true. Sometimes this minigame can be very difficult sometimes, because you really can't figure it out. That, whoever gets, like, the biggest length of spaces and all that stuff, because as you can see, that Boo is really trying to conquer it for this particular minigame. Yeah, I know that, because I'm actually kind of impressed about this, actually, because, well, apart from the fact that, well, he's almost gonna be, like, well, let's just see what happens there. Oh, really? We off by 1 point again. Oh, jeez. There are so many times about the fact that, well, whenever we get to the next mode, or later modes throughout in this game, that, this is what the actual minigame itself with Stake Your Claim is actually very difficult than it looks. Well, at least for the most part, because you have to be really right on with that specific, not only by the forms of, like, quicker reflexes in here and there, but it's also because of how the fact that, well, you need to be exactly right on time before the computer players might actually decide to claim it. So, yeah, that's a little bit tricky for that part, I suppose. But anyways, though, it looks like Koopa Troopa is going to be using himself the Golden Dash Mushroom, of course. And, seems more accurately, though, is he ever going to catch up to the star yet? It may look like it, because I'm pretty sure enough he's getting quite close. But, yeah, it looks like he's definitely going to take this star as much as he can, so... Plus, he got himself the golden pipe after all, so naturally, he may actually get ourselves a little bit more organized at some form or another. So anyways, Goomba got himself the 5 in addition with, you know, these 2 numbers, but subtracted by 2, so that makes 5 altogether, so... But I digress, so it looks like, Goomba, he's going to be purchasing the regular Dash Mushroom. So, yeah, not much else to say about this here, so, yeah. And no hidden block for this so far, which is kind of understandable because, you know, it's pretty luck factor for the most of it.